How important is the location of your agency, surrogate, donor, and clinic? So location is definitely something to consider when you're looking at putting your surrogacy journey together, but it might not be something that you have total choice in. Of course, you can always choose where your clinic is located, and you can choose your surrogate based on location. But due to the scarcity of surrogates and how few there are to go around, you may have to choose a surrogate in a location that wasn't necessarily your first choice. Same with an egg donor. You may find an egg donor that's perfect for you, that's exactly what you're looking for, in a location that's far away from your clinic. So while location is important and would help to keep costs down, it's not necessary that all of your people in the journey take place in the same location. As an agency, we have clients that we've never actually met in person. We have some clients in places as far away as Abu Dhabi, for example, whose surrogate is maybe located in Kansas. And so they may fly to Kansas and see their surrogate, but they may never come to Dallas to see us at their agency. And that's totally okay. And these days, it's very easy to put together a journey without actually having to meet in person at any stage of the process. Usually we say to start with your surrogate. In many cases, you might not be able to. You might want to start with your clinic and get your embryos created, but that's okay. Your surrogate and your donor really aren't going to spend that much time actually at your IVF clinic. Typically, the donor and the surrogate would each make 2 trips. The first trip will be for the screening process. That'll be usually a day if they have to fly in, or possibly 2 days if they need to fly in from a longer distance. So let's say, generally speaking, if your surrogate was located in Dallas and your clinic was located in San Diego, then they would fly out there, stay overnight, have their screening the next day, and fly home the same day. Same for an egg donor for the screening. They would fly out there, have screening, and then fly home the next day. Now with the transfer process and the retrieval process for a donor, there is a little bit more time spent at your clinic. For the donor, she's going to need to have the last part of her cycle closer to your clinic so that she can be monitored in person. That amount of time varies by clinic. When I was a donor, I spent about 5 days before my retrievals in the city where my clinic was located. So you do have to consider that the egg donor will have a little bit more lost wages, and she'll have a little bit more time away from her family, and she will have to spend a little bit more in terms of hotels and meal cost if you're flying her to your clinic. A surrogate will fly also for her transfer, but the transfer takes less time than a retrieval does for a donor. So the surrogate will generally spend 2 to 3 days after her transfer at the location of your clinic. In most cases, that will be fly in the day before the transfer, stay for the day of the transfer, and maybe fly home the next day or 2 days after, depending on the requirements of your clinic. There may be bed rest required after a transfer. But generally speaking, your surrogate should be located in a surrogacy-friendly state. Your agency will take care of that for you. That's not something that you really need to worry about if you choose a good agency, but that is the most important part of the process. You do not want to choose a surrogate from a state where there's not good surrogacy laws in place, or that would make it more difficult for you to become a parent or get your names right on the birth certificate. That is the one key factor that is not negotiable. Your clinic can be pretty much located anywhere. Your egg donor can be pretty much located anywhere, as can your clinic and your agency, but your surrogate really needs to reside in a surrogacy-friendly state that's going to make it an easy post-birth process for you legally speaking.